Thank you very much. I'm going to talk about a recent study by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. The black-white racial wealth gap has seen little improvement over the last 20 years. In fact, in my city of Los Angeles, the black home ownership rate was 34% in 2021, lower than it was in 1910. We know that owning a home is a primary driver of wealth in this country. Any efforts to reduce the racial wealth gap require creating more paths to home ownership for individuals traditionally excluded, as well as addressing ongoing discrimination and bias in the housing market. That is why last year I introduced my down payment toward Equity Act to provide financial assistance to first-time generation home buyers. I'm also working to finalize my Fair Appraisal and Inequity Reform Act, which would address appraisal bias and discrimination by reforming the federal oversight structure of the industry, streamlining the fair housing complaint system, and making key appraisal data available to the public, among many other important provisions. So first of all, I want to thank Mr. Morrell for being here today, because I know how hard the Urban League works in order to help build home ownership. It's one of the top priorities. But here's what I want to know. Many of our banks, or some of them, they woo us with donations, and they have a banner up at the church banquet, and they give what I consider relatively low contributions to keep the relationship. But Wells Fargo was found to not do home refinancing, which is so important to us during this inflation. What can we do with Wells Fargo, for example, who rolls out all kind of interesting little things that they are doing in the black community? But when you look at something like an inability to get them to do refinancing, how do we deal with that? Mr. Morrell.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair Waters. Look, I believe that in the environment we face today, we need to also encourage banks to offer to people second mortgages versus refinancing an existing mortgage at a higher interest rate. I think the larger question, and I think it's an important question, is whether refinancings, purchase money mortgages, consumer loans and business loans are going to be available to the black community and the brown community on a more equitable basis by Wells and all of the other banks. And this committee's continued oversight, continued advocacy is so critical and important. I agree with you, Chair Waters, that we have to find more ways to support people with down payment assistance. We have to reform the credit scoring system, which screens out many African-American potential homeowners. We have to pay close attention to the discriminatory practices amongst AI, artificial intelligence, in automated underwriting. And all of these are things that serve as barriers. So I think continued oversight and pressure by this committee is so essential. And it is my hope that in the new Congress, I know that your voice and the voice of many on the committee will continue, notwithstanding the change in the majority.
Well, I understand Wells Fargo. It's, attempting to work with the Urban League relative to some other issues, but I'm focused on the fact that Wells Fargo rejected 50%, half, its black applicants in mortgage refinancing. So I bring that up today because I think that you may have an opportunity to say to them that today, when you came to talk about what could be done in helping with home ownership and retention, that this is an issue that they really need to deal with, because I'm going to pay a lot of attention to it.
Yes, yeah, and Chair Waters, I want to agree with you that those numbers are unacceptable. Those refinancing numbers are unacceptable.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, and I yield back.
Chair yields. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Ms. Tlaib, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Chairman. And I would really